and welcome to healthyhouseplants.com, where we teach you all about gardening in the great indoors. If you'd like to support our show, please use our Amazon affiliate link below. Okay, today I'm going to talk about the top reasons why houseplants lose leaves. Well, first of all, how much leaf loss is normal? So you know, do I have a leaf loss problem or this is normal? So some leaf loss is normal. Just like humans shed hair, plants will shed leaves after a time. The leaves get old, they run their course, and they're just going to fall off. So for instance, on this glacier pothos here, just pulled this one off, a yellow leaf off, and also in the back here we have another one. Okay, so normal, that's normal leaf loss. I'm not too concerned. I don't see a bunch of them all over the plant. I would say that occasional leaf loss, like I mentioned, is perfectly normal. Around 5 to 7% is a rule of thumb. So around, if you're seeing about 5%, 10%, 5 to 7% of the total volume of the plant is yellowing, coming off, then you're fine. That's, as I mentioned, that's fine. But if you are seeing more than that, there are several reasons why the plant could be losing leaves, and you're going to want to rectify the situation, okay? So these are those top reasons. Not enough water. So if you have not been watering the plant enough, and generally we know when we're not watering the plant enough, then it will drop leaves because it cannot sustain the whole plant with the insufficient water that you are giving it. So it will, the leaves will, it will drop leaves, the leaves will die, they will yellow, they will fall out. Okay, fall off. Or you can easily pull them off like I did. Okay, another reason, too much water. Okay, so if you're overwatering the plant, the soil's remaining wet a lot, you're getting a little carried away with the watering, it's sitting in a dish, in a saucer full of water, that sort of thing, then that can also cause all the yellowing. Insufficient nitrogen, that will result in yellowing leaves, and generally it could be the new leaves, and sometimes it's the older leaves, and so it will also cause premature loss of the leaves as well, which generally speaking is what happens when it yellows. So that's insufficient nitrogen. That's the NPK. In the NPK ratio, that's the first number in the NPK ratio on a fertilizer bag. Okay, the next reason, incorrect pH. And I do have a pH playlist. I will link below a pH playlist on how to fix a plant that has incorrect pH if you determine that you think that's what it could be for your plant. I will link below for that playlist, as well as any other videos I mentioned in this video that are of significance that I mentioned. Okay. So as mentioned, incorrect pH. If the pH is off in the soil, the plant can't take up nutrients even if you fertilize. So you may be getting a lot of yellow leaves and you think, I think it's a nutrient deficiency, and you keep fertilizing, but the leaves keep yellowing, or it just stays the same and doesn't get any better. Then that is a good indication that your pH is off. pH has to be correct for that type of plant in the soil for the plant to be able to take up nutrients. Another reason for yellowing leaves, an insect invasion. Scale particularly is notorious, and mealybugs do the same, but scale is particularly notorious because you can't often see it, but what happens is it's feeding on the chlorophyll in the leaves, and that will cause them to yellow and then fall off prematurely. They will also eat at the base of the leaves of the stem, and that also cuts off nutrients to the leaf, so that will cause them to yellow and fall off. Another reason, environmental stress, such as extreme weather conditions. So it's either too hot or too cold in your house. You want to ensure that the plant stays in as even a temperature as possible. So even in the winter and summer months, a good rule of thumb is anywhere between 60 to 75-ish in there. I think you can go high, a little higher than that, you can get a little lower than that, but if you go a lot lower, a lot higher, you're going to have problems, and especially if you have a really quick change. So the plant can say, oh, okay, we're going to yellow up a bunch of leaves now because we think we're either going dormant or or dying or going to die at some point. Okay, so as mentioned, so ensure that the plant stays as even as possible. Also, keep the plants away from forced air conditioning or heating blowing on them, because that can cause that extreme fluctuation I just mentioned in the temperature, not to mention the next reason, which is low humidity. So that the forced air conditioning heating will cause low humidity, and low humidity can also cause the plant leaves to yellow, and it also is notorious for creating brown leaf tips and edges. Okay, another reason, incorrect light levels, either too low or too high, can cause a plant's leaves to yellow. And the last reason is shock, either from repotting or moving the plant. So say you've moved and you put it in a new location in a new home. If it starts to yellow up leaves and drop, that could just be the plant saying, where are we? What are we doing? And a lot of times if you just leave it be for a while, just treat it the way it needs to be, put it in good lighting, it will be fine. Repotting shock, that's another problem altogether. I do have videos on a whole series on repotting, videos on repotting shock as well, I believe. So, but that is, say you repot your plant and 2 weeks later it's yellowing leaves and dropping. That means the plant does have transplant shock. And what you want to do in the case of that, the similar thing that you want to do if you've moved your plant, just make sure it's in good lighting, make sure you're not overwatering, make sure the temperature is good for it, and also make sure it's in the correct size pot. If it's in too big of a pot, that goes back to that too much water that I mentioned. It's staying in too much wet soil, and that can cause the yellowing will continue and the plant may die. So you want 2/3 plant on top, as I always talk about, to 1/3 pot ratio. And I have videos on that as well. So there you go. Top reasons why houseplants lose leaves, the leaves yellow, and they lose the leaves. Thank you for stopping by today. Please leave any comments about any indoor gardening tutorials you'd like to see. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. And please check the bell if you'd like to be notified when new videos are released.